Welcome back to Dan's Messy Garage. Today I'm going to rebuild the C4 transmission. I have one here I recently purchased. It came with a bell housing and converter. The whole thing, $100. Cheap. I bought it because I needed the bell housing for my car. Get this out of the way. The first thing I'll do, take the pump out. Maybe. I say maybe because, see, this style, the bell housing holds the pump in. It would be like this. Like those bell housing bolts line up with the pump bolts and hold it in. The other style case, like this one here, is that even in frame? Yeah. The pump goes in here, and the bell housing, which I just happen to have one here, bolts on to the case separately. On the style of trans I'm working on, the bell housing comes off and the pump is free to come off. This one, you have to take the bell housing off separate from the pump. They take the pump off, but it may not want to just pop off of here. Might have to give it a little shove from inside. Let me get a hammer and a screwdriver and see. If it doesn't pop right off, I'm not even going to bother. I'll do this later. Now, when I rebuilt one that was in my car, pump fell off as soon as I took the bell housing off. Okay, this one doesn't want to move freely, so we're going to move on. Spin it around. Take tailshaft housing off. In order to do that, I'm going to have to take this transmount off, because there is a bolt holding the tail shaft housing on that transmount is blocking. Okay, take that. Just blast it off there. These are 9/16. I'm working in this side of the garage right next to my air compressor, so it's going to be a lot louder. I'm hoping the noise canceling microphone will take care of a lot of that. Okay, that housing there. Okay, hear that? That's the one-way clutch. It lets it turn one way and not the other. That's a normal sound. That's it snapping into park. That part all seems to work okay. I should get a pan to put on my table so it doesn't run everywhere. I have an old cookie sheet. That'll help contain some. I'm going to take the servo cover off first. There's usually a lot of fluid behind here, so here comes the fluid. This is an A servo. That's a good C4 servo. A servo comes apart like this. Got some black schmoo in there. Normal. I have new seals I'll be putting in. Set that off to the side. Okay, got some paper towels. Wipe some of this black goo out of there. Because I want to see what the bore looks like in the case. That all looks good. There's no groove. Great. That's good. Now, one thing that's really good at cleaning parts, especially all the black gook that's in a trans starting fluid. I can tilt this. Spray some in there. And black gook will just run right out of there. You can take the modulator out. That's just a simple pull out little pin. Way to check the modulator. Push it like that, and if fluid squirts out, then it's bad, but this one might be okay. I've got a bunch more modulators in my trans parts. Okay. Band adjustment. Spin this around. This is the reverse servo. Blast that cover off. Okay. So I got 4 bolts for that one. 4 bolts for this one. More black schmoo in there. This is brittle, petrified rubber. No good, garbage. And I'm doing the same thing, checking case. Nice, nice, nice. So far, so good on this case. This is the downshift lever for passing gear. And I'm going to get a container for these nuts and bolts. This will work. A lot of these nuts and bolts are going to go in one place. And I'm starting to get familiar with C4, so I kind of know where some of that stuff goes. Okay, now we'll turn it over, do the trans pan. Turn that over. And here comes the fluid coming out of the port where the modulator was. 1/2 inch. Well, this is all typical. No metal, just clutch material. Got a 77 part number on that part of the valve body. You can see the starting fluid just melts that stuff right out of there. Okay. 3/8 bolts hold the valve body in, or 3/8 socket. and then it's held together with some 5/16. Okay, this comes right off. Another 77 part number in here on this side of the housing or casting. Valve body casting. Still need to get the pump out. There's a little filter screen in here. Pull that out. See, there's, twist this around here. Whoa. Trying to contain my fluid spill here. So I'm going to take this little portion of the band out of here if I can. No, I'm going to have to loosen this. That's a 3/4. Just like that. Well, that thing fell in there. Yeah, let's get a magnet and fish it out. Okay, this is the end that goes on this adjusting nut. Here, I'll show you this. This threads into the case, goes in that hole, pushes on the band, and you set it. You turn this threaded portion in to 10 foot-pounds, back it out 2 or 3 turns, depending on where you read it, and then lock it down with that nut. All right, so now I should be able to get the pump out of here. Well, this is all new to me. You know, having a pump that doesn't want to come out is easy. My experience, they pop right out. When one time it even fell off when I took the bell housing off, like I was mentioning. This does not have threaded holes. Some do, like an AOD, and you can thread bolts in there and use a puller to pull it. Or you could thread a bolt in there and use the bolt head to pry against. Since these aren't threaded, I can't do that. I'm going to try a little hammer action. Somewhere where I'm not going to hurt the pump or the case. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look on YouTube and see how to get those out of there. I did see a video where a guy who had the same problem, couldn't get the pump off. And these 3 bolts here go through, all the way through the case. So what he was doing, he took and tapped this to a bigger size, a 7/16 coarse thread. He tapped that maybe 3/4 of an inch in, put a bolt in there, and then took a bolt from the back side, threaded it through the case, and the through the case bolt pushed on the bolt he had in the front pump, and it came off. I think I'm going to have to do that. The most I can do it is in 2 locations. This top one and here. So let me get things gathered up so I can try that. 7/16 coarse tap. This handle will kind of work. I just have to keep taking it off and putting it on the tap, because I can only turn it so far and it hits the shaft. But it should work little by little. Take a look. Stick a bolt in here as far as it'll go. That's only threading into the pump. And then I get a bolt. Got to get a long bolt to do this because there's not a lot of clearance in the back. Let me go find the bolt. Okay, there's not a lot of room to thread a bolt in from the back side because the head hits the case. I've got a socket head cap screw here, bolt. And that might not go in there either because it's hitting right here. Might have to get a grinding wheel out. Grind that down. Okay, this might be better. Okay, it feels like I just hit this bolt here. So I'm going to reposition you guys. Because I'll be able to tighten that up better if I stand where you were. And you guys watch right here. That should push that out when I tighten this. I can see it coming out of here. This would be so much better if I had another bolt on the other side to do the same thing. I don't. Even out the progress a little bit with the hammer. Hey, look at that, folks. Coming out. Here it comes. Whole direct clutch and everything's coming out with it. Oh, and the other clutch. All right. So the forward and the direct came out. Forward has 4. I can see there's a lot of slop in that. So those discs are wore out. This one is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Rust washer. Front pump. You can see that bolt right there. 7/16 I put in. And this one was pushing on that bolt to push the pump out. Well, while you're there, let me get my 1/2-inch impact socket, blast the pump off, and we can take a look at it. There's only 5 bolts that hold this. There's no springs or anything like that. When I take this last one out, it should kind of fall apart, so I'm going to hold it. Like that. And what we're looking for is a smooth surface here, which we have. Yes, good. And we need to have nice smooth surface on these gears. That looks great. Back side of this one looks good too. A little hammered where the torque converter went in, but not bad. And this gear, this looks good. Looking at the surface of the pump here where this gear rides. Excellent. I'm going to be replacing that oil seal. I'm going to be cleaning all these parts up, but this feels good. I don't feel any slop in there. Inside where this other gear rides on the housing in there is great. This looks great. Metal sealing rings look to be in good shape. They're not cracked, frozen there. That's nice. Input shaft bushing looks good. So far things are looking all right. Take the band out of here and see what this looks like. I have the trans on its pan right now, so this might have turned up. No, I got it. Okay, never mind. Band got some wear on it, some stress cracks, so this needs to be replaced. We have a rust washer I just dropped down into the pan. That looks good. Another thrust washer in here. Looks good. Got a Planetary gear here. I'm checking to see if there's any slop in these rollers. Oh, this is in great shape. Yay. That bushing in there looks great. This rides in that bushing. Sun gear shell. Looks good. Sounds good. It's, you know, if it was cracked, it wouldn't have that nice ring to it. So that's good. Those bushings look good. All the lugs look good. Another bearing, thrust washer. There's another set of Planetaries in here. Reverse planets. Get it from the bottom. Usually you take stuff off when the pan's on. All right, you guys move and I'll get this done. Get the pan off. This is one of the pans I got in an old pile of parts. was just easy for me to grab it and stick it on here real quick. Bolts over there. All right, see, now I can reach in here and get this stuff out easier. This is the other planet. Check the rollers. Feel good. All right. We have a washer. That looks real good. Right there. There's a snap ring that holds all this together. Yeah. All right. The ring is off. It's just a split ring with when you put it on the pliers. Get it on there, I'll show you. And these, they just sent it to Neverland. It went under the car. I'll be able to find it later. But that just spreads that apart so you can take the ring off. The ring fits in a groove. That looks good. There is a reverse drum in here. That looks good. This is what the reverse band squeezes, stop it from moving. Here's a reverse band. Let me get that out of there. These hold the reverse band. Looks in great shape. These hardly ever wear out from what I'm told. And I happen to have 5 of them sitting in my pile of parts back there. There's a one-way clutch in here. I'm looking at all the springs and rollers at first glance. They all look good. So this trans probably only needs clutch packs. And I've got them. So let me clean stuff up here so I can inspect things better. Well, so far all the parts are looking good. Did some inspecting on them. I'm going to pull apart the governor real fast here and make sure that that's up to snuff. Looks like I can pull a snap ring out of here. Oh, need the other. See, this is the opposite snap ring. This one, you need to squeeze it together to get it out of the bore. The other one was on a shaft and you had to spread it apart to get it off the shaft. Okay, spring came off, washer came out, there's the spring. Valve's right there. Wipe off the crap from my magnet. Pull that out. Looks good, it's not scored. Got black stuff on it, so that needs to be cleaned out. Just want to see. Feels real nice and free in there. Okay, the other one I can't take apart until I remove the governor. So I think those are 3/8. Yep. Okay. This slides off. Now inside here, there's a clip, a spring, and a valve. sometimes you can just do this with your fingers, but so you got to reach in between the clip split area and push on the spring. So I'm just going to take some needle nose to hold that spring in while I take the clip out. This. That's the clip. Here's the spring. Get that out of there. And there's a valve in there. There. See the black stuff on that? Like on my finger. From my understanding is governors need to be spotlessly clean when you put them together. Can't have any of that black stuff on there because it could stop the valve from moving. So I will clean this stuff. I have high hopes for this transmission working. I decided what I'm going to do. Instead of rebuilding these clutch packs, I got clutch packs that were already rebuilt in those parts I bought. They have good clearances in them, new seals and friction discs. I'm just going to slide them in here. And this will be like a quick way to rebuild it. I'm going to clean all this out, get some more cans of starting fluid and blow it out good. Get all the aluminum filings off of it that, like I just wiped inside one of those bores. And all aluminum filings from my sanding disc. When I sanded the side of the trans to get that bolt in there. Oh, this feels real tight. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, excellent. I should get that bolt out of there now. Bolts and springs and clips and everything in here. And I can even hose her down. Clean all that up before I put it back together. So I gotta get this bolt out. Starting to assemble the trans. Got the reverse band sitting in there. I know that really goes in later, but I think I can do it this way. The one-way clutch in there that's made up of springs and rollers. And there's 3, 6, 9, like maybe 11 rollers. I got 9 of them in. And I'll show you when I'm done here what I'm talking about. Those are the rollers, and in between them you can see the springs. Got to kind of compress the spring and put that in. That allows this inner ring, should zoom out a little bit here, to turn one way. It locks going the other way. So now that that's in there, I need to slide some more of the trans together. goes down in there. It's got to slide all the way down. There's some teeth that it engages. See, I can turn this one way, but not the other way. It turns clockwise, locks counterclockwise. So now I can flop this over, wipe the schmoo off to this part. Then this output shaft goes in there. I'm putting some green assembly goo on it. There's sealing rings, kind of like piston rings that are on here. It's going to make sure those gaps are not lined up. Get that bore wiped out. A little assembly goo on the bore where the rings go. Slide this in. Like that. And then this thing goes in there. Got some assembly goo on it. And slides in on the splines. And this is held in with the snap ring. Okay, that snap ring went right on. Now, I'm going to go up this shaft in the trans. Slide this. No, I'm not. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to watch the video. See what's next. All right, this pan I just set on here to keep the dust out of the trans. This is the next day, by the way. I'm going to continue working on putting the front pump on, and then I got to check end plate clearance. So I need to make sure things are lined up here. Just going to put a couple bolts in there to hold it for now, because I need to have the bell housing in place in order to tighten this correctly. But a couple bolts in here will allow me to get this pulled up against the case and check end clearance of the transmission. Need 9/16 to do that. And here. That longer bolt runs through the case there. I need a shorter one on the side because that one doesn't run through the case. Okay, end plate check. Need to pry the assembly forward and take a feeler gauge down in between the thrust washer and the drum. Usually you can hold it out of the way with a screwdriver. But see, what I went and did was put the assembly glue on there. So now it's kind of glued to the drum. Well, there's another way to do it. You use this shaft up front here and put a dial indicator. I'm 43, so I have to take the pump out and take and change a washer in there, thrust washer. Tell me the pump doesn't want to come out again. There we go. Take that out. What I need to do is change this washer right here. Thrust washer on the end. Need to find one that's thicker. Get my washer stash and see what I have. 73, 73, 65-ish. All right, so I gotta look through my stuff. See if I can find something thicker than that. If not, then I'll have to play with the different thicknesses of thrust washers inside the trans. Maybe. Of course, I don't have to. Okay, I'll just pull this out. There's no thrust washer on that. Okay, there's one in here. I'm going to do one at a time. This is the first one in there. Thickness of this, and see if I have another one like this that's thicker. Okay, so there's a couple more thousandths. Put this one there for now. And set this one over here. What else I got? Nut and a bolt in there. These are the regular thrust washers. So I got 5 of this style to pick from. Right now the thickest one is on the drum. Wait, 6. There's another one here. It's that new one. Yeah, same as the others. And Mother Nature's calling me. I'll be back in a few. This guy goes on. You gotta line up all those clutches. All right, that went right in that time. Now, video I was just watching, other guy said, don't put this in yet. Put this in and then measure your end play. Make sure that's pushed in all the way. My dial indicator set up. Try this. Really? Be right back to 43. 0. In. 0. Triage 43. Not getting anywhere. To get this trans in spec, this needs to be thicker. And the issue there is I don't have anything thicker. I've been going through all the parts. I found a 30,000 shim that goes in the back of the C4 trans. I was about to make a spacer for that. I also found a thinner gasket for the pump. The one I had on there was like 30 thousandths or so thick. Found one here that's 17 thousandths. So that should get me in spec. I'm going to find out here. That in. This back in. 0. Try and test. All right. Starting out at 0. Right there. 29. We're well in spec now. Okay. So now I can continue on with the assembly. I finally have this together with the proper clearances. Now I need to go through the valve body, clean that out. Now it's got new forward and direct clutch discs, new seals. Should be good to go. Okay, this is the longer bolt here. It goes right in there. Snug them up. Get my 1/4 inch ratchet and check tightness. Perfect. All right, I have the valve body put together. Got the transmission here that I just rebuilt. Take the pan off. Make sure there's no grit on this mounting surface. Make sure this is good. And I did do air checks on the trans where you send air into these passageways, and makes the bands either squeeze or clutches activate. Got the filter in there. Park reverse neutral slide valve thing here. That's this rooster comb. The other one is the downshift lever, which pushes on this part of the valve body. So if I kind of line them up like that, I might be able to slide that in. I have to get a light. There, now I can see in there better. got to put the pan gasket and pan on now. Alright. You know, I don't have to bore you watching me put pan bolts in. It's pretty easy. Just need to put the trans mount on. And if I put this in my Falcon, then I'll have to take the bell housing and torque converter from it. But that's it. I mean, that's how I rebuilt the C4. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please come back to Dan's Messy Garage for future videos on various things. Bye.